So the first and foremost thing, the reason that why learn AWS DevOps, why should I learn? What is in it for me to learn AWS DevOps? As you can see, if you look into the evolution of development and deployment, so it has been changed drastically. So in the beginning, it was a waterfall model where the application architecture was monolithic, applications were run in physical servers, and application infrastructure was a physical on-premises data center. Later on, after the waterfall model, agile model came into picture where you can run an entire application architecture as a application architecture. Then you have a virtual servers, and then you can host them. You can have a data center which can be hosted on a particular other data center. And post that, from now we have a DevOps for a development process, and our application architecture, our microservice application architecture, we are doing a deployment and packaging in the containers, and the application infrastructure is going to be the cloud. So we are currently here, right? We are currently here. So learning at DevOps is must because we are here. All our application architecture, deployment and packaging, application infrastructure, everything is changed. Everything is upgraded now in order to suit this particular requirement. So your particular development process also has to change, and that is a DevOps cycle or a DevOps way of doing an application development process, right? That is where learning DevOps is very, very important. So DevOps itself is a very big topic. So it will have several stages, several phases, which can be done by several services in the cloud, in particular to AWS. So as you can see, you have there are different phases like planning, coding, building, testing, releasing, and then again deploying, and then operating it, and then monitoring it again, planning it. So this entire life cycle is called DevOps life cycle. And here, making sure that each of these particular phases are interconnected to each other, which are continuously coordinating with each other, is what you need to make sure, so that whenever there is a feedback from a customer and say that there is a changes needs to be done, then it has to be automatically changed, and it has to be automatically modified, and your developer should get the feedback and they should implement the changes, and that changes within no time has to reflect in the production environment. So that is what is the entire DevOps life cycle is all about. And that is the reason why we need to learn DevOps, because we are here. Our architecture is microservice. We're using container-based applications, right? Now this is the growth rate. Sales opposite the profit. As you can see, the sales has been increased. And if you can see that with respect to the cloud market, right, the major acquisition of the cloud market, the major shareholder of the cloud market or cloud infrastructure is AWS, followed by Azure and Google Cloud, as you can see. So what are the companies which uses AWS? Right, the companies which use AWS, the almost 90% of the Fortune 500 companies use AWS. Most of the companies will use AWS. If you look around any company, if you would talk to any company, most of them will use AWS. So as you can see, the popular websites or popular applications like Netflix, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, Adobe, Twitter, Unilever, Hitachi, SAP, ESPN, Turner, Walt Disney, all of them run on AWS only. So if you can just imagine the usage of the AWS, when there is a more image of the AWS, what is in it for you? So if you are a AWS DevOps engineer, then you will be requested to join back. You will be requested to join, and then your composition can be decided accordingly, right? So that is why these are the reasons you need to note down, that why you need to learn AWS DevOps. So as you can see, this is just a direct Google search. You guys can do this. The screenshots are a direct Google search. AWS DevOps salary in USA is around $137,000 per year. That is $70 per hour is an average salary in USA for an AWS DevOps person, right? So this is an average. So you can just take the nearest number here, and you can plan your particular path. But then but there are few folks who get more than this. There are few folks who get similar to this, but this is an average based on the certain survey. And the AWS DevOps salary in UK is, as you can see, it is around 30.77 euros per hour, and around 60,000 euros per year is an average DevOps engineer AWS salary in UK. which is again a very good amount, a very high amount, both in USA and UK. And as you can see here, you can also search for AWS DevOps salary for those of you in India, even if there's a lot of requirements in India. So as you can see, there are several companies who are listed out their requirements in the job portals. It can be a LinkedIn, it can be Naukri, it can be Monster, it can be any website. You can just Google it off. You will get the details of various openings in the AWS DevOps profile. Now let us come back to the basics and understand what is DevOps. So DevOps, as you know, it is a combination of a development and operation team, right? As you can see, development team and an operation team uh, come together, forms a DevOps team. So DevOps engineer or a uh, uh, DevOps engineer or a DevOps roles or a DevOps senior engineer, senior DevOps engineer or a DevOps engineer, they will have to have a knowledge both on the development side and the operation side as well, right? If you think about the previous process like a waterfall model or an agile model, right? So whichever the model which used to be used by IT companies for development and deploying of their application, they were so ineffective, and that is when the DevOps came into picture, which brings the development team and operation team. Here you cannot do a blame game saying that the development team putting a blame on operation team saying that the production issue is because of the operation team, and the operation team putting a blame game to the development team saying that the production issue is because of the development team. So there is no blame game here. We have a one particular DevOps team or a DevOps engineer who takes care of the process where the developer develops a particular application, and after that, building it, testing it, deploying it, and maintaining them, monitoring it, all of them is taken care by a DevOps engineer, right? Here DevOps will help you to collaborate, communicate, and integrate the development team and the operation team. So the benefit here is that you can bring the changes faster to the market, faster to the customer, right? Wherein if the customer changes his mind and give you a feedback, you can implement that feedback and you can immediately bring that particular result to the customer immediately, right? Now let us understand how is DevOps configured in AWS, right? So how the AWS has made it so easier. So if you're attending the particular course, you will be getting more details of it. How AWS has done the combination of work so easier, or a pipeline set, so that you can easily work on that. So as you all know, AWS stands for Amazon Web Service. It is one of the cloud leader currently. It is occupying the major cloud market in the industry, right? AWS certified DevOps engineer exam is intended to individuals to perform it is intended to perform for a team who is using a AWS managed role, who are using AWS role. From the K21 is that this is the learning path. As I was speaking about, these are the modules what we have. As you can see, the module 1 and module 2 deals with the introduction to cloud and AWS DevOps. We will start with the basics, because we know that we have learners from the basic knowledge to a very good experience, but we'll start with the basics, understand what is cloud, what is AWS, what is DevOps, and post that we're going to go to the SDLC automation, software development lifecycle automation. We'll understand how it was done before and how it is going to do today. Next thing is we're going to do an automating infrastructure with CloudFormation. So CloudFormation, somebody asked about Terraform, right? So the replacement of Terraform in the AWS is CloudFormation. We're going to deep dive into the CloudFormation. So these are the advanced topic. After that, we'll be discussing about the Elastic Beanstalk. As I said, platform as a service as another advanced topic. We'll also deep dive into Elastic Beanstalk. And post that, we'll be discussing about the configuration management using OpsWork, which is again another advanced topic, how to do a configuration as a code in AWS, which in we use an OpsWork service. And the next module will be discussing about the monitoring and event management. This is where in the seventh module is where we'll be discussing about the monitoring, and also at the same time we'll also be discussing about the event based programming. In that, we'll be discussing about the serverless computing, that is your Lambda. And in the next module is where we'll be discussing about high availability, fault tolerance, disaster recovery concepts, how it has been handled in AWS, what all knowledge you need to know for this in AWS. And in the ninth module, we'll be doing a container management tool where we'll be discussing about the few containers, right? With respect to the module, with respect to the examination, in the ninth module, we'll be discussing the basics of the containers and the container services like ECS and EKS from the AWS side. But having said that, this is an additional benefit of this particular course. I myself personally will be having going a deep dive with respect to containers, doing some deep dive hands-on on the containers. We'll be doing it. And post that, in the ninth week is where, in the last module is where we'll be discussing about the few exam questions, how to answer them, the tips and tricks for that, how to clear the certification. So with the module 10, we'll be ending this, and then you can go ahead with your exam preparation or a CV preparation or whatever it is, right? And if you look into the labs, what are there in this particular module, there are several labs. As you can see, there are several labs with respect to every modules. So there are almost around 46 labs is what we recommend, and so on labs we recommend from the AWS side.
So, guys, this was our expert from Team K21 Academy. And if you want to dive deeper to any concept, then we have something really, really, really special for you. We have our free class on AWS DevOps for Beginners certification along with some demo. In this free class, you'll be learning about why learn DevOps and on AWS Cloud, what is AWS DevOps, who should be learning about it, CI/CD pipelines. You'll be getting a demo. You'll also be getting some hands-on labs and job opportunities as well. So, in order to register for this free class, all you have to do is just log on to k21academy.com /AWS DevOps 02, and after that, you'll be seeing this kind of interface. You just have to click on book your free seat now and add your event date according to your availability. Enter your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. Moving ahead, you'll be seeing this kind of URL on the extreme right. Save that URL, and I will see you in the free class. Till then, keep learning.